guys, my name is Star, and I'm gonna do a series on my YouTube channel called Mental Health Monday. But I want to come on here and talk about my experience with schizoaffective disorder in combination with my autism spectrum disorder. So I will explain to you guys what both of those are. Now, before we begin talking about my experiences of having both schizoaffective and autism spectrum disorder, I would like to explain what both of those things are. So if you don't know what schizoaffective is, which not many people do because there are not that many people who get diagnosed with schizoaffective, it's a relatively rare mental disorder to have. It's more rare than schizophrenia. Schizophrenia occurs in 3% of the human population, while people with schizoaffective, like only 1% of diagnoses are correct because most people get misdiagnosed with schizoaffective. But I know my diagnosis is correct because I pretty much fit every symptom of schizoaffective you can imagine. So what schizoaffective is, it is a combination of a psychotic disorder and a mood disorder. So symptoms of schizoaffective may include manic episodes, depressive episodes, hallucinations, delusions, mood swings, antisocial behaviors, asocial behaviors, which there's a difference between antisocial and asocial. Antisocial behaviors are things like maybe manipulating others or like not having empathy for others, while asocial behaviors are like avoiding social situations, basically. While antisocial people don't mean to avoid social situations, but we're more socially awkward, and antisocial people, like, this can be like almost anyone can have antisocial behaviors. It's not exclusive to ASPD, which is antisocial personality disorders, antisocial personality disorder. But the antisocial behaviors I experience are like homicidal ideation, lack of empathy towards oneself and others. So I don't feel empathy for myself or other people. I am able to feel cognitive empathy, which means in some situations I can logically understand why someone might be upset, but emotionally I don't feel anything towards that person, if that makes sense. I also have behaviors similar to people with BPD, which a lot of people who get diagnosed with schizoaffective end up just having BPD instead, but in my case I don't have BPD. Like, I have fear of abandonment. I honestly am always scared that people are gonna leave me or hurt me in some way. But schizoaffective can also cause extreme paranoia, which in my case, I have more of the paranoia symptoms and the mood swings and the manic episodes of schizoaffective. Other symptoms of schizoaffective include self-harm, extreme attention-seeking behaviors, and also the fear of like either being sick or being harmed, which I do have that. People with schizoaffective can also be competitive in their own mental illness. So for me, I struggle with not feeling sick enough, even though I know logically I am sick enough. But for me, sometimes I feel the need to prove that I am sick. I've gotten a lot better at it now, to the point where I don't need help managing these feelings anymore. I pretty much manage them on my own, and I'm also on medication that helps a lot. I'm on antipsychotics, I am on mood stabilizers, and I'm also on antidepressants and also anxiety meds as well. Other symptoms of schizoaffective include like not being able to sit still, compulsive behaviors, tics. I struggle a lot with my compulsive behaviors and my tics. My tics can get so bad to where I injure myself without realizing it. Like, my lips look really bad because of my tics. I have a lot of lip picking tics, and I try to stop, but sometimes I'll do it and I won't realize I'm doing it. I also experience hallucinations and delusions. Like a recent delusion I've been dealing with is that if I don't do a task a certain amount of times, my friends or my family will die. I know logically that's not true, but I struggle a lot with that. Schizoaffective can also cause oppositional defiance behaviors. So what that means for me is that I have issue with authority as a result of my schizoaffective. I have a hard time following instructions and following directions. And also my memory is really, really bad because of my schizoaffective. Because when you're in psychosis or if you're having a manic episode, you have a hard time remembering things. And a lot of the times I am manic, so I have a hard time remembering things. And my short-term memory is really bad. My long-term memory is pretty average, I would say, but my short-term memory is really, really bad, which is very common for people with psychotic disorders to have. I also struggle with trusting people. Like, sometimes I think that people are lying to me when I know they're not lying to me. I struggle with fear of, like, having parasites. Like, I don't know why, but sometimes I'll like scratch my skin compulsively because I'll think there are bugs under my skin. You may have heard of this kind of thing happening to heroin addicts, but this can also happen to people with severe psychotic disorders as well, which it happens to me. I struggle with hallucinations of like bugs and worms under my skin, and it's absolutely disgusting to deal with. I know logically there are no worms or bugs in my body, but sometimes I can feel that there are worms and bugs there, even though I know logically nothing's there. Now that I'm pretty sure I've covered all the bases of the symptoms of schizoaffective I have. Now, let me explain some of the symptoms of autism spectrum disorder I have, which includes lack of empathy, childish behaviors, stimming, which means self-stimulatory behaviors, tics, compulsions. I also struggle with learning difficulties. I struggle with remembering stuff because of my autism as well. I also have special interests and hyperfixations. I also struggle with cooking, cleaning, other independent living things. I am a lot better with my hygiene now. I shower every day, and I am trying to brush my teeth every day. I still struggle with oral hygiene, but my body hygiene is a lot better than it used to be. I am pretty clean all the time now, but I still struggle with oral hygiene. I have a lot of oral health issues as a result. But I am trying to get a handle on that before I lose my teeth. I'm afraid of losing my teeth in my 20s, and I am trying really, really hard to work on my oral hygiene, but it's really, really hard because I have sensory issues as well. Like, brushing my teeth is a very overstimulating experience for me. To me, brushing my teeth feels like having a drill through my mouth and cut my mouth open. That's what brushing my teeth feels like, even though I know logically they're just bristles lightly brushing against my teeth. To me, that's not what it feels like. It feels like a very painful sensation to me. My autism also affects the way I communicate. It also affects my ability to regulate emotions, just like my schizoaffective does. And I also struggle a lot with like food repulsions. Like, I am absolutely disgusted by the majority of food. Like, you can name something everyone eats, and there's a very high possibility I've never eaten that before, or I have and ended up not liking it. Having both schizoaffective and autism is not a good combo. I have ruined relationships as a result of that. I've been in relationships with narcissists as a result of it. I have been emotionally abused because I let people in when I shouldn't. Like, I am sometimes too trusting of people, which is another symptom of my autism. It's a bit of naivety. I will admit that. I am a bit naive sometimes. As for my schizoaffective, sometimes I am not trusting of people. Sometimes I will let my guard up when I should let my guard down. It's very hard to balance the two of either trusting everyone or not trusting people at all. It's very, very hard for me to balance that because my brain is just simply not capable of that. And it sucks. I wish I was a neurotypical. I know that sounds a bit eugenic-y to say, but I wish I was a neurotypical because I don't understand the world and I'm scared of the world. And I think the world is a really dangerous and hostile place. Because time and time again, the world has shown me that it is not kind, it is not safe, and it is hostile and mean. But like other things with here's how both symptoms of my schizoaffective and autism can come to play. So with my sensory issues, it kind of bounces off my schizoaffective in a way. Like, I will compulsively, for example, wash my hands, and then my schizoaffective will cause me to wash my hands to the point where my hands will be bleeding. Or, like, I'll chew on my hands when I'm nervous, when I try not to. I try not to chew on my hands, but I compulsively chew on my hands and chew on my arms. And I don't mean to do it. It's not intentional. That's why I don't count it as self-harm, is that it has to be intentional, in my opinion, like purely intentional. But other symptoms of schizoaffective that kind of like also is symptoms of my autism is that when people get sick, I get very, very paranoid. I stay away from people. Like, even the sound of someone coughing makes me super, super anxious. And sometimes I have to physically leave the room because I'll end up crying because I'll think that if a person coughs, that they are gonna die, basically. I know this is also gonna sound weird, but I also consider my schizoaffective and my autism a blessing and a curse in my life. I've gotten shit done before while manic, and I'm always proud of myself. After, like, one time I cleaned the whole entire house while having a manic episode. And after that, I was like, damn, I'm proud of myself. Or, like, I'll, like, make a bunch of art when I'm manic, and then I'll be, like, really proud of myself. But the problem with mania is that it never lasts. And I know this is not acceptable for me to say this, but sometimes I miss having manic episodes. I'm not nearly as manic on my medication, and parts of my mania I don't miss, such as, like, me being really mean to people when I'm manic, which, disclaimer, just because you have a mental illness, that doesn't excuse your behavior. Stuff I've done in the past have been really, really shitty, and I wish I could make up for the shitty things I've done, but I can't. What's done is done, and you can't go back. That's just a fact. My schizoaffective and my autism also, like, definitely cause me a lot of body dysmorphia because I don't have the same perception of my body that neurotypical people do. So, like, I'll see something wrong with my body when no one else sees that thing. Like, for example, I think my nose is too big, but other people are like, you have a relatively small nose. And I'm like, I don't see that. What the fuck are you talking about? A couple other reasons why I think my mania is a blessing and a curse is when I'm manic, I am pretty creative when I'm manic. And I come up with some pretty creative solutions to a lot of problems in my life. And I honestly think that my mania is both a very positive and very negative part of my life. I've also made friends while manic before, which I can't do that most of the time anymore because my medication stopped my manic episodes. I miss my mania because it made me more confident, more, like, able to socialize. And because of medication, like, I miss my manic episodes because I was able to make friends before, but now, because my mania's calmed down, my brain is more hyper-focused on anxiety, and that sucks. But I'm on anti-anxiety meds and they've been helping. I also use cannabis to help with my anxiety and it helps a lot. But I still struggle with a lot of social anxiety because of my autism spectrum disorder. Another symptom of my autism I struggle with is social anxiety. That's also a symptom of my schizoaffective, which is social anxiety. The way, like, if you guys want to see accurate depictions of schizoaffective in media, I highly recommend watching Arcane. I think Jinx from Arcane is an amazing example of what schizoaffective could look like because I have a lot of the same symptoms and characteristics. League of Legends Jinx is also a pretty good example of like what a manic episode could look like. I've done the most stupid shit while manic. Like there was one time I spent $72 on Taco Bell because I really wanted Taco Bell. Oh my god, it's embarrassing. But like I ate $72 worth of Taco Bell because my schizoaffective was like, oh, it's only $72. But once I was out of that psychosis, I'm like, oh shit, look at what I did. That was so dumb and all that. Now, as for both disorders colliding with each other, I would say both my autism and my schizoaffective definitely collide a lot, if that makes sense. I also speak very, very loud and very rapidly and very fast. That is a symptom of my schizoaffective I struggle with. Sometimes I talk so fast, people tell me to slow down because they can't understand what I'm saying. And sometimes I'll talk really, really loud as a result of my manic episodes as well. And again, the most common symptom I struggle with for both my schizoaffective and my autism is social anxiety. I get so socially anxious, I could barely talk to cashiers. That's how anxious I get socially. And I could barely text people. I have to have notifications on all of my apps on my phone turned off because if even one of them is on, I'll get very overwhelmed very, very quickly. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'll probably make a video responding to your guys' questions. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.